Welcome back to the Lost Boyz Podcast, episode 15. Gianni.
Brandon.
Welcome. If you're new to the channel, make sure to like, subscribe, turn the bell notification on so you get notified every time we post, which is every Thursday at 12 p.m. And also, leave comments down below of what you think, what you agreed on, maybe disagreed on, what your take is on certain topics that we may discuss. And we'll take it from there.
Anything you want us to discuss or would like to hear our opinions on or think it would be of value for us to discuss, comment down below.
Also leave ideas that you'd like to hear. And if you want to have a more personal or deeper conversation, if you don't have my number, add me on Instagram. It's in the description below, his as well.
Yep.
We can have a discussion there. So
also, Lost Boyz Podcast on TikTok.
And my fault.
I was just gonna say, like, comment, hit us up, follow.
Yeah,
most important.
Share, and just don't forget, we're the number one podcast in the Milky Way galaxy. Mm-hmm. If you don't like it, you can eat a Frank. Anyways, and if you don't know what that means, then don't worry about it.
You're too young.
But yeah, anyways, today's topic, we're going to be talking about the importance of doing things alone and also going through things alone as well. I'm more than anything gonna touch on doing things alone. And I think you want to touch more on like going through things alone. So I think they work hand in hand. So we're gonna bounce off each other. He may be more dominant in one, I may be in the other, but either way, we'll try to bounce opinions off each other and go from there and see how it plays out.
See, I think this episode is gonna be interesting because last week's episode on perspective, we just brought up alone.
Yeah.
And just started writing out my perspective of alone and the way I think about it versus your perspective. Like, not that we have different perspectives, but just our interpretations of it were different. Yeah. So I actually like the
100%. Because my interpretation of when I initially started writing things down was different from yours. So it does play a good role into the very last episode of like perspective.
Mm-hmm.
You know, how you view things, how you digest things, and all that stuff. But with that being said, I personally believe it's very important to experience, in the case of what I wrote down was more like activities alone. And I think it's super important because it creates growth just overall in your life, and it creates growth to many aspects of your life too. And what I mean by activities, I mean so some examples would be like going to the bar by yourself, hiking, the beach, maybe traveling as well, which is something I want to do, going to a restaurant by yourself, running errands alone, just doing certain things that most of the time you would want somebody to be with you, or you feel like it's weird if you don't do it with a group or a friend or a family member.
I just hit myself in the face with the pen.
That you do it by yourself. And I think it's super important because I think it leads to what we've touched on many times, which is confidence. And that confidence, I think, comes because it allows you to put yourself in a situation where it's it's the unknown, right? Mm-hmm. You've never done it before, so it's awkward. It feels weird. You don't feel comfortable, and in a sense, what you're doing is what we've touched on is allowing yourself to become comfortable with being uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. And like the first time you do it by yourself, it may feel a little weird, but then the second time you do it, and then you realize, or maybe even the first time you realize, it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
Like, it was all in my head. And to be honest, either one, no one here even noticed I was by myself, or two, no one even gave a fuck that I was by myself. And you realize that a lot of the things you put in your head were mental barriers preventing you from doing those things on your own when you could do them on your own. And no, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, it's like, to add on to that, because actually while you were talking, I wrote it down, and you mentioned it, where it's like, I think when you get past the hurdle of what are people going to think of me doing something by myself, you unlock the opportunity to increase your self-confidence. Because imagine if you wanted to go see like the new Top Gun movie, right?
Yeah.
But you weren't going to wait on nobody to go see it. Just, you know what? I want to see this movie. Fuck it, I'm going to go see the movie, right? Yeah. Are you going to wait for the social setting to be right to see the movie, or are you just going to go see the movie because you want to see the movie? That's where I think that's like two ideas are clashing, is because if you're really comfortable with yourself and, you know, you appreciate your own self, you're not waiting on nobody to do anything. You're just like, you know what? I want to go see this movie. I'm free Sunday, bam, goes to see movie.
Exactly. And it's not like, you don't have to be a loner. Like, I'm not saying be a loner about it. Do everything and anything by yourself. But if there's something you want to do and maybe a friend or family or whoever it is doesn't want to go, it's like, okay, cool. But I'm going to still go and do it myself. It was just more like, if you wanted to come, cool. But if not, I'm going to do it either way kind of thing. I think that's where you need, like, more people should get to. Because then it helps, again, just confidence and just overall in your life. Like, if you're like a dude, for example, and you're not confident in talking to girls or something, and you go to a bar by yourself, and there happens to be many girls inside the bar, if you start talking to one or two, and you don't even have to, like, try anything, it's just conversation, you're going to realize, like, one, okay, I got myself to talk to the girl. Step one completed, like, that's already a confidence boost. And then two, I'm by myself in a bar where most people come with friends and, like, or maybe cousins or whatever, and party together. And here I am alone doing it on my own. And I'm talking to people and having conversation, and they're cool about it. They didn't even give a fuck. They didn't even ask me who I was here with. They just don't. They're just having a good time. I'm having a good time. That's it. Then you realize it's really not that big of a deal. And honestly, no one's really fucking judging you because no one cares. No one, at least the way my experiences have shown me that, like, most people are like, you're by yourself? That's fucking dope. Yeah. Actually, here, come party with me and my friends. Like, that's amazing. Like, let's come have fun with us. And my experiences. Because, like, for example, like, I went to a bar with people, but then they left early because they got too drunk. But, like, the night was early, like, it wasn't even midnight yet. And I was like, you know what? I've never been out by myself. Normally, like, I would just be like, all right, I feel like I'm gonna just leave too. But I didn't want to leave. I was just gonna leave because they were gonna leave. And then I was like, you know what? Fuck that. I'm gonna just stay. See what happens. Like, if I feel too weird that, like, I'm married and I feel like I need to leave, then I'll just fucking leave. Like, it's not that big a deal. And I stayed, and I had a great fucking time. I had more fun than when they were there. Bro, I was by myself though, but, like, because I was by myself too, like, I don't know, I just didn't care. Like, I just was going up to people, talking, having drinks with people, having a good time. People were dancing. Like, it became the dopest time ever. And no one even asked me who I was with. Like, no one even gave a fuck who I was with. They just saw me, like, trying to have a good time. They were trying to have a good time. Started talking, and we all had a good time together. And it was, like, a dope time. And even times when I've traveled to, like, other places, I've encountered people who, like, are there by themselves. And I don't know if maybe it's just me, but I feel like other people are the same way. It was like, for example, I went to Puerto Rico. There were two different people that I encountered that were there by themselves. And, like, literally I was just like, because to me, it's something I want to do is travel by myself. And maybe that's why I admire it more, because I haven't done it. And I was just like, yeah, I fucking love that. Like, that's dope as fuck. Like, I want to do that one day and stuff. And instead of being like, fucking weirdo, instead I was like, yo, come party with us. Like, we're gonna go have a good time. Come with us. And then we went to, like, the spot we were in Puerto Rico, and we were all partying together. Mind you, I just met this dude walking to the fucking spot. Like, we were both going to the same place. I just happened to meet him walking. He saw us. We were in a group. He was by himself. He started a conversation with us. Hey, where you guys going? Oh, we're going here. Oh shit, me too. Oh shit, who you here with? Oh, I'm by myself, actually. I just decided to travel alone this time. Oh shit, that's dope as fuck, bro. Let's come with us. Like, let's have a good time together. And that's it. He was from, like, I don't know where he was from. I think he was from California or something. And we just all partied together and had a dope ass time. And, like, that for him, like me as the outsider, I'm like, damn, that probably is so fun. And, like, I can only imagine his perspective, where he's probably like, dude, I could do anything by myself. I don't need no one for anything. It's not that I don't have to be I'm gonna be a loner, like I said, but I can understand that, like, now if there's no one around who wants to do things, I don't need them to do it. They're just a bonus if they come, kind of thing.
I want to touch on something what you said is how you said you want to do that. So seeing that person was doing that draws you to them, essentially. And I wrote down, like, with anything, it doesn't even have to be, being alone or anything like that, but when you meet somebody that has a characteristic that you want, you tend to admire that aspect of them, and that equals attraction. Not attraction in like a sexual sense or a romantic sense, attraction in like a, yo, I want to like hang out with you. I want to be like cool with you.
Yeah.
Hence like the, yo, come hang out with us, right? And then you start attracting more people like that. Or being in the scenario to find more people like that. Because that's a very like sought after characteristic. Like that's dope as fuck to just be able to just travel by yourself.
Yeah.
Just fully on your own energy and flourishing on your own energy.
Yeah. I give credit to one of my friends. You know him.
Mm-hmm.
He's traveled by himself. He actually went to Puerto Rico by himself, I'm pretty sure. And he was partying by himself. And then he's gone out to other places by himself. And like those were things like the traveling by myself I always wanted to do, but going out by myself I never thought I could do it. Like I remember like literally saying it like I don't know how, like I don't know if I could do it, like I just feel weird if I did that. And then it was just one of those things, spontaneously I did it, and I was like, this is fucking amazing. Like, this is the best time of my life right now. Like I don't need to go out with people. Like if they come, cool, but if I really want to go out that bad, I could do it by myself. Like,
yeah.
I really don't need them here. And then I feel like that confidence that it gives you also can trickle over into anything. Like for example, I give the example of like the guy talking to girls, but it could also be like maybe if you try to start businesses now you have that confidence where like you've done things on your own that were the unknown to you. Like
Mm-hmm.
you've never done it before on your own, and the thought of it freaked you out because you're like, I can't go out by myself. I can't go to a different country alone. What if something happened? Like all these doubts and fears were holding you back, but then you started to do them. That now you don't want to even have those doubts or fears anymore. You're just like, fuck it, I'm gonna do it. And I think that can translate over into other parts of your life, like trying to start a business, where that's literally like it's a big fear. Like there's so much risk involved. The majority of people don't know what they're doing when they first get in. It's a process you learn along the way, unless you have mentors to guide you, which most don't. Like there's so many hurdles to overcome, but I think if you already have that confidence from just being able to do activities on your own and knowing that you can do things alone, that translates into there. And not only that too, like the fact that you're doing things alone and going out, like networking too, like you never know who you come across, who you meet. Like what if that guy in Puerto Rico started talking to me and I was a fucking multi-millionaire and everything, and I admired the fact that he came alone. I decided to put him on. Like, yo, what do you do? Here, come do this. And I give him a blueprint. Next thing you know, he's living lavish because he just had a conversation with me because he decided to go. He felt like doing something, and he didn't let no one hold him back from doing it. You don't know what could come out of it. I mean, there could also be negatives that come out of it, but you try to think of the positive, you know? But don't be an idiot.
With anything, though, the negatives, that's a part of life. Whether if you go out with 10 people or you go out by yourself, either way, the door is still open for the negative.
Yeah.
Like, I don't believe you should let the negative stop you from taking the risk. Obviously, take that with a grain of salt. Don't be stupid. Yeah. But, you know, there's any chance you go out, there's a chance that's any time you go out, there's a chance that something dangerous can happen.
Yeah.
So am I going to stay home forever?
No, of course not. It's no way to live life.
And I also believe that, listen, whatever life has in store, dude, 23 years old, I'm 23-0, baby. Yeah. I'm undefeated. So,
true.
As taking the risk isn't as grand as you think it is to be in your head. You've definitely already overcome way worse shit than what? You go out by yourself, worried about what people think.
Yeah.
You closing doors.
That's literally all it is. All it is just worrying about the judgment of others. And at that point, all you're basically telling yourself at that point, which like became more clear to me after I did it, was like, I'm just basing my life off the opinions of others, when in reality, who gives a fuck what they think? Like, I don't know, like 99% of them, I don't even fucking know. And I won't know unless I try talking to them who they are. So who gives a fuck what they think? That's why I always say, like, whenever I go out and I see somebody in the dance floor who can't dance for shit, but is giving it their all and just having a good ass time. They don't give a fuck. To me, I'm the kind of person who goes to him, I'm like, yo, this is lit. I fucking love this dude, or whoever it is. Because to me, that like they're living at that point. They're not letting anything hold them back from enjoying the experiences of life that they want to experience. Whereas the other person who's too scared or too shy is just like, yo, last night was a movie, bro.
I was just gonna say it. The people in the corner on their phones.
Yeah. Fucking scrolling on Instagram. Yo, last night was a movie. Yeah, on fucking Netflix that you were watching on your phone. Like, what? Like, go enjoy those experiences.
They fucking looking at pictures of the event that they're at.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I don't know. Even like with the beach, right? I've gone to the beach by myself. Probably one of the best times I've had. Just, I mean, like, don't get me wrong. I have great times with my friends and family too. Like, I have very good times and good memories and good stories and all that. But sometimes doing it alone too, sometimes is very fun. Or if not, just very peaceful too. That like, just dope as hell. Like, I don't know, something about going to the beach by myself, it was just dope. I was just like zen. I was just chilling. Like, it just opened my mind to like, I don't need people. I choose to have people because I like these people and they bring value to my life and everything. And we have a good fucking time together. But if none of them ever wanted to come, I'm still going to do it. Like, that's not going to hold me back from doing the things I want to do. Or their opinions or either. Like, it's not going to hold me back. And I think one of the key things like you can learn when you start doing activities by yourself is that it's not necessarily that you're going to find yourself when you're alone. Because I don't think you find yourself in life. I think you create yourself. In my personal opinion, I think you create yourself. And I think when you start doing those things alone, it's not that you're finding yourself, it's that you're starting to create yourself to the person that you want to be or if you've always wanted to be. So you're not finding that person, you're just creating that person. Yeah. And doing those things alone are helping you get there or expose that.
Agreed. That's so fire. Because it's true. You build yourself to be who you want to be.
Exactly.
Like, who you are is not pre-written.
Nope.
If that was the case, then everybody would already know, like, oh, yeah, I'm destined to be a doctor or whatever like that. That same person might end up becoming a Broadway actress and being the biggest actress in the world. Like, you never know anything. Your actions and what you choose to do is what really, that becomes your destiny.
Yeah.
I was going to say that it's my turn to lose the train of thought.
While you try to find that train, I'll say this. I think many people can get lost in trying to find themselves because they think, oh, why don't I know who I am? Why this, why that? And most people say, well, you got to go do things and experience things. And I think what they're really trying to say when they say those things, is like, what you need to do is go create yourself. You're not, if you just sit here and you just stay locked in your room for a month trying to figure out the kind of person or who you are as a person, you're not going to get too far. But if you go out and just put yourself in experiences, then you're going to create that person who you are, because you're going to find yourself in situations where you're going to be like, I prefer to act this way versus that way. I prefer this over that. I enjoy this perspective over that perspective. And in return, then that's when you quote unquote find yourself. You're really in reality creating yourself, because now you're choosing a new way to act and you evolve into a new persona, hopefully for the better.
Different verbiage, same concept. Something I heard. This was the tail end of high school, but it's the first part of figuring out who you are or who you want to be is figuring out who you are not and what you don't want to be. You got to go out and experience to realize, you know what? Damn, man, like, I really don't like bowling. All right, cool. Then you're going to become a person who doesn't go bowling.
Exactly.
Like, you have it's way easier to build yourself when you remove the obstacles of the things you don't want.
Yeah. And
then with everything you remove, you shine the light on what you do actually want to become. Like, all right, let's say mathematics isn't my thing. all right, well, now out of the 7 or 5 major subjects, now you got 4 more. Now the chances of you picking the one you like is even greater. Guess what? Social studies isn't it. And you know what? Art's not really my thing, but oh wait, what's up? Science. Yo, I've always fucked with science. Like, the more you start to disqualify through experience, the more what you do want to become
starts to come about. It's a process of elimination.
Process of elimination.
Yeah. It's just trying, and then eventually you find what works. And then you go from there. I was going to say something, then I forgot now.
We got the notepads right in front of us.
I know. I wrote down the create your stuff before, that's why I remembered it, because I almost forgot it.
Yo, by the way, this guy writes neat as hell. God damn. It's beautiful.
Funny story. So, one time at work, we were trying to mess with the manager, and I wrote a note like somebody else. Well, I wrote with my regular handwriting, but I put it on something that like it seemed like somebody else would have done. It was from like the bakery because they brought cookies and like we didn't want them, so we just left it for them in the morning. And then he said he came in, he was reading it. He was like, I didn't know whose handwriting it was, but I knew it wasn't one of the coworkers' name was Thomas. I was like, I knew it wasn't Thomas though, because that dude has terrible handwriting. So and then it was from the bakery that the cookies were from. So he was like, he asked the guy at the bakery like oh, like do you know who might have left this? And the bakery guy was like, oh yeah, that's definitely this person because they have that's like girly handwriting. And it was me who wrote it. And I was like, what the fuck? I was like, yeah, damn, just because I have neat handwriting, it's just girly.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
He started dying laughing.
I was gonna ask before, I just remembered. I had to circle it. How would you go about drawing the line between solitude and going through things alone, or like going out alone, and socializing and going out with groups? How would you draw the balance, let's say?
I think it's individual. I think it comes to individual people and what their balance is, because no one's balance is going to be the same. But I think it's just trying to find that balance. Like, in a sense, if I'm going to social settings by myself, like bars and stuff, in a sense, I'm still being social. I'm not being, because I'm in a social setting. And now it's one thing if I'm in the social setting and I'm just like in the corner, fucking throwing shots back by myself. Like I'm a depressed, like unhappy person that hates life. And it's another, like I'm just vibing, talking to people, trying to meet people, things like that. I think it's definitely a healthy balance of the two. It's hard to say what the exact balance is because, again, I think it's individual. Like for me, I really enjoy going out with people. So for me, I probably wouldn't go out alone as much or as often, but where somebody else may go out alone more and occasionally bring people with them. Or maybe they go out alone, meet those people out there, and then whenever they go out, those become the people that they go out with, kind of thing. Like they develop a new friend group for like, okay, these are my going out friends. These are my laid back friends. These are my hiking friends. These are my travel friends. These are these friends. Like they also, and then you have one that maybe if you're lucky, you could find one or two that like apply to all sectors. Yeah. And
then they become the main friends.
Yeah. But I don't know. It's hard to say like what the healthy balance is. I think too much of the one or the other is probably like a good way to gauge. Like, okay, I'm doing way too much of one or the other. But I don't know. I think it comes down to individual each individual because what may seem like too much for me may not seem like too much for you. Yeah. Vice versa.
Wow, I like that answer. I agree. It's honestly, you could feel it in yourself. Like, at least for me, if I go out enough, my social meter goes down. Where it's like, damn, maybe I just want to chill at home today. Like, yeah. Like, there's something to be said about those nights where you're just like, you know what? Nah, I'm gonna sit this one out.
Yeah, I think there's definitely social keys and cues to it too. Like, if I go out enough, usually it gets to the point where I'm like, I'm out, but it's just like whatever. Yeah. When it hits that whatever point, I'm like, all right, time to lay back, do other activities. Whereas if I'm going out, I'm like, like I'm fucking wilding out. Then it's like, all right, I'm enjoying. But then you also run into the problem where somebody never finds that like, it's whatever. It's every single night, 24/7 too. So it depends.
It's also, this is gonna be a rabbit hole or slippery slope of a conversation, but it's like, there are people who become attached to the idea of going out, but don't have that, so then they start supplementing it with, like, you know, maybe ecstasy or something like that. Like,
stuff.
Or just needing to kick back a wild amount of liquor.
Yeah, no, that's never a good thing. I never understood that, to be honest. Like, people going out and just fucking blacking out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, don't get me wrong, I've done it before on my 21st. Bad experience. I never did, and I haven't got like that ever again in my life. And I told myself I never will, because, I don't know, to me, that's not fun.
Mm-hmm.
Like, to me, when I see somebody get that drunk, unless it's like their 21st birthday, in my case, like, that was the purpose of why I started drinking so much. It wasn't because I was like... So what I'm trying to say is, like, when I see people constantly getting blacked out drunk or, like, extremely drunk, like, obliterated, like, they can't have one night where they're just, like, decent.
Mm-hmm.
I see it as, like, they're dealing with probably something on their mental, and so they're trying to escape from it, and they usually go to the extreme. And then that's when drugs get involved, blacking out all the time gets involved, and all those other things start getting mixed. Then they start to experience it for those purposes, but then they start to because they find that escaping is so good, then they want to do it all the time, and then it gets to a point where then it becomes an addiction, and then it's hard to come back from. I feel like that's usually where it stems from. Usually somebody who's pretty stable mentally, at least, I don't think they go out and have the desire to do those things, or the desire to do it so much because it was so much more fun, or cleared their mind from something else. It escaped them from their reality so much that then they wanted to, like, keep doing it all the time. I don't know. I guess it also comes down to individuality as well, because, like, for me, I enjoy being sober. I don't really like to get fucked up. Like I've said, like, when I drink, it's rare for me to really get fucked up, unless, like, I will occasionally, but not all the time. Like, for the most part, I'm going to have two drinks, 3 at the max. Like, 3 is like, this is too much.
Yeah.
Usually I have 2 drinks. I'm good. I said I don't need no more. I'm chilling. And I'm happy with that. And then I know, like, some time goes by, I'll come back down. I'm sober. I'm good. I'm chilling. I said I'm happy. That's also why I don't smoke, because I don't like it. You know, like, I could smoke, but then how my body reacts is how my body reacts. And then the reason why I don't smoke is because I have done it before. Sorry, mom and dad. I have done it before, but then, like, after like an hour, I'm like, this isn't fun. Like, I want to be sober. And then I get frustrated that I can't get sober. And then I get angry, and then it just fucks up my whole mood. And I'm like, what the fuck? That's why I stay away from it. But no, yeah, I forgot where I was going with this, but yeah, pretty much.
See, that's
whatever I was trying to say. I hope you guys got the point.
See, that's been one of my things in the whole drinkers versus smokers. I will drink when I go out, right? If it's a gathering or anything, I'll drink, right? But very rarely, and they're few and really far between, the times where I've ever really needed, like, real assistance or, like, being, like, fucked up, right?
Yeah.
I could think of one time in the last 3 years. And that was, shout out to the Quick Check parking lot. But
you didn't even need assistance, though.
Yeah, no, but I threw up. I feel like a bitch. Anyways, but my whole thing is, once you smoke, you're in that state until your body says you're done.
Yeah.
At least when I drink, like, I know how to sober myself up. Like, if I gotta go make myself throw up, I'll go make myself throw up. Like, I'll do whatever I gotta do. But I know within an hour I can get to, like, a sober state.
Yeah.
Right? But with smoking, it's like, the times I've smoked, it's like, damn, yo, I want to sober up, but you fucking can't.
You just gotta go to sleep.
Yeah.
No, yeah. I think, too, of, like, when it comes to alcohol versus weed, like, or liquor, whatever you want to call it, whatever it is, I don't even know. I think alcohol and liquor are 2 different things. But anyways, I feel like you could control how, I guess, under the influence you get. Because I know, okay, if 1 drink makes me feel this way, then I only need 1 drink and I'm good. But if I have 2, then I'm going to get to this level. And if I have 3, then I'm going to be on this level. And if I go to 4, then I'm on. It's like bad news.
Mm-hmm.
So I can control how much. So I can also regulate how my body is going to react. Whereas I feel like for, at least, and this is my personal case, where if I were to smoke, I could take 2 hits. I don't smoke though. So 2 hits would like destroy me.
Yeah.
How my body reacts at that point is how it reacts. I can't control how high I become or how not high I am. Like, how my body decides to react is how it reacts, and that's it. Whereas with liquor, I can at least mitigate the fucked upness I am.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it's still, either way, I think everything comes down to balance and all that stuff.
Agreed. That was a little side tangent.
Yeah. So, what did you want to get into with your take on doing things alone?
So,
or going through things alone, I know you wanted to say.
Because we could kind of tailor it off of the drinking, because you kind of threw the oop 17 rants ago about like people are trying to like numb something in themselves when they drink,
or do anything that helps them escape reality. That's a vice.
It could be alcohol, it could be weed, it could be fucking
drugs,
shrooms or Molly or crack or cocaine, anything, right? But at the end of the day, that's seeking something external to solve an issue. Now, what I mean by going through things alone is like, when something happens in life, I believe there is a lot of value in going inward for the solution, as opposed to, and the same thing as like going out by yourself, it's with balance. Because as much as I say you should go through things alone, you should also have a support group. And the support group should align with where you're trying to go. So that's first and foremost. I don't mean like every single thing in life, like you got to shut everybody out.
Yeah, it's not to be a loner, but it's to have some experiences alone.
So let me give you an example. Let's say I lose my job and my girlfriend breaks up with me, right? That's a shitty situation. Now, on one end, I can turn to other people and do what they say I should do, and maybe the situation gets better, maybe it's a short-term solution, maybe it just gets worse, right? Or I can spend some time by myself, figure out why did all of this happen, and try to figure out what the next step for me is, and moving forward like that. In the second scenario, 1, I've improved my critical thinking. 2, my emotional intelligence has gone up, because, you have to spend time with your emotions if you're alone. I see that today we're too quick to fill these moments of solitude where there could be value with social intervention. Not that that's a bad thing, but like I said before, you need the balance of the two. You need to understand your own thoughts, because the more time you spend out and socializing or depending on other people whenever you go through something, the quieter the voice your critical thinking in your head gets. So being alone, I think, is a huge, going through things alone, not being a loner. Going through things alone is huge for building that future self, critical thinking and emotional intelligence. I say you need to spend some time with your thoughts.
Yeah, and I think that goes back to what we were talking about before, of creating yourself. I think, again, like, even in a situation like that, right, you lose your job, your girlfriend breaks up with you, and you're just down bad. You're down horrendously, right? And that's, in that point, it's not so much that you need to find who you are, but by going and doing certain things on your own, or going through things on your own, and maybe experiencing certain activities on your own, what you do is you start to create the answer that you need. So
that's fire.
Yeah, so it's not like, oh, well, I found myself when I was down there. Like, no, what you did was you allowed yourself to create and become who you wanted to become. You gave yourself the answers without even realizing that you were giving yourself the answers. Whereas, like, if you just took every single moment of that, for example, just getting high out of your freaking mind, or downing bottles of liquor, or doing drugs, or just do it like wow, I just stutters like crazy. But diving deeper into vices, you make the problem worse by neglecting it. Like, you never get better by avoiding issues. You only get better by attacking the issue like head on, and really trying to like figure out, okay, how can I overcome this? And literally what you're asking yourself is, what's the answer? Like, how can I overcome this? And then when you overcome, it's like, oh wow, even though this happened and all that and it was bad and everything, I found myself. I like to think, no, what you did was you just asked yourself, what's the answer? And then you put in the work to find the answer. And then when you found the answer, you created yourself to become that way. I think that's what it comes to. But I think going through experiences alone, like things like that, is very important too. Not 100% alone.
Yeah.
But having moments where you're alone, right? Because like, you could have that moment where you get dumped and you lose your job. I maybe have never gotten dumped or lost my job. So I don't have the empathy to be able to help you, because I don't truly understand where you're going. I can't put myself in your shoes if I've never worn the shoes before. I don't really understand. I could be sympathetic about it, and I can try to see where your perspective is coming from and try to help as much as I can based off the knowledge I have. But at the end of the day, nothing's going to change unless you personally choose to make that change. You have to go and create that person yourself. I can't create it for you. You can't help somebody that doesn't want help. I could tell somebody 2 + 2 = 4. And if they want to believe it's 5, it's always going to be 5.
Yep.
It's until they decide to ask or try to figure out why does 2 + 2 = 4, that then they'll realize it equals 4.
It's true. You can bring a horse to the shore, but you can't like push it in the water. I forget how the saying goes, but it's something like that. Like, you can't help, like you say, you just can't help somebody who doesn't want it.
Yeah.
You need to be open to growth. You need to be open to, which goes back to my first point, through risk. You have to risk the discomfort, which I'm like, this just popped in my head. Quick side note, between this episode, last episode, and every episode ever that we've done, taking risk is a common denominator here.
Yep.
Like,
taking risk and becoming uncomfortable, being uncomfortable.
It's so common in all realms of life, whether it's your career, if it's emotional intelligence, whatever it may be. Anything you want to improve, you got to take a risk.
Yep.
The risk and sacrifice kind of go hand in hand.
Yeah. I wish I came up with this slogan, but I obviously didn't, because there's a YouTube channel with millions of subscribers that already have this slogan. They're called Yes Theory, but their whole slogan is seek discomfort, which pretty much embodies what we're saying about allow yourself to become comfortable with being uncomfortable. It's putting yourself, go look for uncomfortable situations and put yourself in them, because that's how you grow and that's how you become better. And I wish I had that idea first, because man, it's a fire slogan. Seek discomfort. But that's the truth. Go seek discomfort.
Shout out Yes Theory.
Go seek it with people and go seek it alone too. Do both. But I think where you will find the most answers is when you do it by yourself.
When you, right there, you just remind me. So it was a moment in my life, right? Last August, we planned this just about, where me, my sister, and my brother were like, let's do something that we've never done. Insert skydiving, right? Neither of us had ever done it.
Crazy.
We were all like, fuck it, like, it's cool, right? Like, let's try it out. And as a group, and that being everybody's first experience, made it that much better too. Like, there is, as much as we say, like, yeah, go out and experience by yourself, if you can have a balance between that and a social group where you're all willing to just live, because like one of my personal sayings is life is lived in the doing.
Yeah.
Right? That turned into the top one moments of my life is the second your ass leaves the seat of the little edge of the plane, like, just wow. But I would never be able to describe to you what it's like the moment you hear the door opening and then, you know, all sound is gone because all you're just fucking do from the wind. Like, you can't describe any of that unless you do it. And that is, to sum it all up, Will Smith has a saying where he's like, life's, how did he word it? Life's like most beautiful experiences are on the other side of maximum fear. Like, you have to go to the other side of your biggest fear to get to the greatest fruits of it. They're like the greatest experiences. Yeah. Because, and this is the example he used, where it's like, think about skydiving, right? It's pretty fucking dangerous. And all you need is your chute not to open and boom, right? Rip. Yeah. The night before, it's like, fuck, man, I'm jumping out of a plane, you know, the morning of, which I didn't have anxiety for this, by the way. I think I might be like a psychopath or something.
No, honestly, my fault to cut you off. I don't think you're, well, maybe I'm a psychopath too, but, like, I don't know. For me, I don't get anxiety. I have a, okay.
Sound mental.
Yeah, I just have a, kind of personality for the most part, for most things. And it's funny, because I was telling you this off camera, but, like, the other day I was talking to my dad. And I forgot what the question was, but I was just like, I don't know, it's just like, it is what it is, like, whatever. He was like, yo, dude, you need a bottle of emotions. You need to chug a bottle of emotions, bro. I mean, I've always been that way my whole life, though. Like, something, like, crazy could be happening. Like, very rarely do I get, like,
yeah.
It happens, but not that often.
You're very, like, baseline.
Yeah.
You hover there. But
back to your story.
What was I saying? So it's like the night before, you're all in your head about it. The morning of, you're like, you know, fuck. And then you're in the plane's going up, you're like, But then the second that it's the most dangerous, there's no danger in all of that. The night before, you're totally safe just sitting in your bed, right? Mm-hmm. But you're stressing. But the second you leave the plane, when you're actually in danger, it's the greatest experience of your life. The way he words is like, the point of maximum danger is the point of maximum, like, pleasure.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, look, I'll be honest. I don't think this guy right here is ever jumping out of a plane. But I will say I have done certain things. And in the beginning, when I was younger and I was do those, like, certain activities or things that would scare most people, I was scared at first. And I guess maybe this is through self-awareness. But again, it came from being me doing it, not other people doing it for me, where I came to the realization where it's like, all right, like, I'm doing it. Like I said, the act is happening. There's nothing I can do to change it. It is what it is. Let me just try and enjoy it. Me being scared or frightened is not going to change anything. So why not just look at the beauty of it and take it from there? And honestly, it's helped through with other things in life where I'm just kind of like, it could be a stressful situation, and I mean, I don't get stressed.
Yeah. So, like, because
I see it differently, like, especially at work, like, I'll have coworkers who, like, start stressing over things, and I'm just like, bro, just chill. Like, if you're stressing, isn't going to change the outcome, then why stress? And, like, going through experiences, some of them alone, have taught me that, whereas, like, in moments where I should be, like, or stress or, like, have, like, these crazy emotions, I'm just, like, very stoic and just like, all right, cool. I'm just gonna take it for what it is, and that's it. Like, no matter what I do at this point, it's not gonna change it. Can't control what's gonna happen, so I'm just enjoy it. But I think that only comes if you start to push yourself to do things alone, and it doesn't have to be something as extreme as, like, jumping out of a plane or anything. It could just be going, I'm gonna go on a hike by myself. I'm gonna go to a restaurant and sit down and have a meal by myself. I'm gonna go sit at a bar by myself. I'm gonna go travel to a different city or a different country by myself. I'm gonna do this by myself, do that. I'm gonna take some time. I'm gonna talk with friends, take their advice in, listen to it, see what applies best for me. But I'm also gonna take time for myself to find like that inner peace. And then to create that person I want to be. And then take it from there. And I think all that comes from doing things and going through things alone. Like I said before, again, it's not to be a loner, but it's to have some experiences alone, because that's also very important. As much as the social aspect is important, so is the alone aspect.
Look, just because what you said just made sense for me. When you spend that time alone, right? Hear me out, dude. It actually improves your ability to make friends. Like, trust me. You start being able to, because you know more about yourself, you know more of what you're interested in others. And you want to align yourself with people who are similar enough, yet different enough to you. Similar in maybe the way you guys look at issues in the world, but different in maybe goals, right?
Yeah.
You're similar with food and movie taste, right? So you guys can bond over season 6 of Peaky Blinders, but you guys have totally different political views. Guess what? You want that balance of similar yet different.
Yeah.
But in order to be able to build relationships like that, you need to know what you like and what you bring to the table.
Yeah. No, there's so much to learn from going out and doing things alone. And especially if you're like, let's say you have the self-awareness to know you lack social skills or you're socially awkward, then, or you struggle to make friends, that's another thing. Well, then put yourself in more situations where you can make friends. And what you realize is, one, you're gonna realize one of two things. Whereas like, one, okay, I don't really need friends. Or two, I would like to make friends, but my happiness or my socialness doesn't rely on having friends. It's just a bonus to my social life, not the only way I can have a social life. Like, if you can't make friends and then you decide to sit in your room all day, every day, or just be home all the time, or never put yourself in a setting where you can go out and make friends, well, then how do you expect to ever make friends, you know? You got to put yourself in those situations, and then you'll probably learn, like what I just said, those one of two things. Either one, you don't need them, which you don't, but they're good to have. And then two, like you do make the friends, but you understand that you don't always need them to be around. It's just like, it's a bonus to your social life, but you don't need them for your own personal life.
Yeah. They bring value, but they are not all of the value.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if that makes any sense,
honestly.
No, it does. But
does.
Your social influence is like, hypothetical number, like 25% of who you are. The rest is what you, I'll say 45%. The rest is like what you choose to build for yourself.
Yeah. At the end of the day, I think doing things alone, going through things alone, is very key to the growth of a human. Any person, any human, any person. Having a social life is very important too, because like, if you're a loner, then maybe right now you're like, oh yes, you're just like solidifying my point. But then you're just hearing this aspect. But I would disagree. I'd say if you're a loner, then no, do the opposite. Actually, no, I guess, I don't know. If you're a loner, not so much do the opposite, like only go out with people, but go out more to find people. Which I guess that kind of ties in, actually, now that I think about it. But anyways, yeah, doing things alone and going through things alone is going to help you create yourself, not find yourself. Don't get caught up, or at least in my personal opinion, I don't think anyone, or you personally, whoever's watching this, should get caught up in trying to find yourself, but instead should try to, if there's things that you're lacking or want to improve on, try to find answers for. And when you try to find those answers, essentially what you're doing is creating yourself. And if you see people that are out and they're friends with these kind of people, and you want to be friends with those kind of people too, well, then create yourself to have the values so that those people want to be around you too. You know, you can have certain values that you think is good enough, but maybe it's not. So I don't know. Just figure shit out.
Yeah. So I have a question. Which, honestly, through the natural progression of conversation, we've answered most of my questions. I was going to ask, what is one of the best lessons you have learned in going through something by yourself?
I think is what I just said, like being able to control emotion. Although I think I've always been good at controlling emotion, I think it helped me understand why. Because growing up, right, I'm not someone who expresses a lot of emotion. Like I said, I know myself, and I know I can be very stoic, very like, okay. Like I could be super excited.
Always.
I could be like, yo, this is crazy, and I'm like, yo, this is dope. Or I could be like angry or down. I'm just like, okay.
Yeah.
But you're not gonna get too much more than that. Occasionally you will, but for the most part, like majority speaking, you're not. And growing up, I remember like people like saying like, oh, you can't be that way. Like, you gotta express yourself. You gotta. But I always knew, like in my head, I was always like, for what? Like, this is how it works for me. Like it works for me. Like so, like I always just kept to myself and like kept true to myself in what I did. But going through those experiences by myself helped me understand further why I am the way I am. And it wasn't because I found myself through it, but it's because I created myself through it. By going through those things, I found answers to like, I mean, I guess you could say you find yourself. I don't know. For me, it works more when I say you create yourself. Maybe finding yourself does work for you. And if that works for you, then it works for you. For me, I think it's creating yourself. But through going through those experiences, I guess found the answers as to like why I am the way I am, I guess, per se. But it's not so much why I am the way I am. It's like, it's okay to be the way I am. Like, I don't have to be any different because the majority of people aren't the way I am. It's like, I still have friends. I've still like been social. I've still lived a good life. Everything's still fine. So why do I need to change, kind of thing? Yeah. And going through those experiences taught me like, okay, in certain situations, I don't need to stress. I don't need to change who I am. I can stay true. I always stay true to myself, and just like, I'm the one who controls my destiny, and I create the future and the person I want to be. And I think that's like a lot of the things I learned along the way. I guess I hope that answered the question, because I've been stuttering a lot today, and like my brain's been like, I'm talking and my brain goes this way, that way, that.
Yo, dude, me too.
For some reason, but yeah. What about you?
No, that was a very valid answer. I think you touched on a solid point with and I'll give my answer in a second, but I think you touched on a solid point where it's like, there's kind of this, not to say narrative, but even though I know the goal is rooted in good, like, yeah, like express yourself. Some people just aren't that expressive. Not everybody looks at everything the same way. So it's not like a cookie cutter formula for everybody. Yeah. There's somebody who's stoic, right, in high school, but is dying to pour themselves out, right? Like, yeah, if that sounds like you, yeah, dude, you should probably fucking vent or something like that, right? Yeah. But it's not a one size fits all kind of situation. But what I was gonna say for my answer to this is that if I can, for me, this is personal to me, if I can separate the emotion from whatever it is that I'm going through, I haven't been through a situation where I couldn't find the solution to.
Yep. Controlling your emotion is like the key to everything. The majority of people are reactionary for the most part, and that's what messes them up. When you act out of emotion, you either regret something or you, for the most part, regret something.
You've known me for 23 years, the entire life.
Yeah.
I spent many years reactionary, and it wasn't until like the later few years of my life where it's like, oh no, like that's not how you go about things. Like, yeah. If you're acting on this is my humble opinion, right? if you're quick to act on emotion, I forgot who it was. I think it was Marcus Aurelius who said it. He who is quick to anger is weak, regardless of how strong he is.
Yeah, I think it was Marcus Aurelius.
If all it takes for me is to say, like, yo, I don't fuck with your shoes, and that's it, I got you out of your frame, out of your mindset, oh, dude, you're not even a threat. You're not even competition anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I know how to deter you. So, understanding that, and on top of doing many dumb fucking things, right? You for me, it was like, oh, wait. Acting on emotions just leads to regret. It leads to decisions that didn't even had to have been made.
Yeah.
So I 1000% agree with you on that.
Yeah. And to go off what you were saying before, like, and I know I've said it in previous podcasts before too, but like at that point when you're reactionary and you react off your emotions, again, you don't live life. Other people are living the life for you. Mm-hmm. You have no control over your life. Because again, if I know I can say this and you're gonna react a certain way, I control you. Mm-hmm. You're like a dog that I trained. If I tell the dog to sit and it sits, I'm living for the dog. The dog doesn't have a life. Mm-hmm. It's listening to me. So that dog is living vicariously through me.
It's just waiting for the order.
Yeah, exactly. It's just taking orders. And it's the same way. Like, if I can say, shut up, and you start going crazy, you start throwing punches everywhere, and next thing you know, you end up in handcuffs. Cool. Guess what? I'm living the life for you. Yeah. You're not living your life. I just controlled you. You were basically the dog I told to sit. I gave you shut up was the order for you to go crazy. Yeah. And you went crazy.
Look, and don't be naive, right? I know we have some younger viewers too. I will bet every fucking dollar I ever make in my life. Everybody will come across somebody in their life that will act a certain way just to get the reaction out of them, right? Like, and these are the people you want to avoid.
Yeah.
Like,
you experience that. Like, that's why I always say 99% of fights are always avoidable. The only time you should fight somebody is if they're like physically trying to harm you or somebody you're with.
Yeah.
Because when somebody starts calling you names and yelling at you and all that, why do you need to react? When you react, then you just feed into them, and then they know, like if I start calling somebody all these derogatory words, and then they start getting crazy and they want to fight me, in my head, I know I got them. Mm-hmm. I've already won the psychological warfare. I already beat them mentally. I got them to act the way I wanted them to act. So now it's just so much more easier for me to put them in situations where I win, because I'm already in control of your mind. I'm moving the freaking joysticks like that. And it's the same exact thing. Like, just fucking walk away. Like, if they're not trying to put your hands on you, who cares? Not only that, too, words should not bother you. Words have the words itself do not have a meaning. It's you as an individual who gives the word the meaning. Mm-hmm. So you're the one who's giving it that meaning. Like, if somebody calls me a bitch, it shit means nothing to me. I don't care.
Yeah.
But if I react to it, well, now I'm choosing to give bitch a bad meaning and let it hurt me and so that. Like, if you speak Russian and I speak Spanish, and I call you a million curse words in Spanish, but you don't speak Spanish, you're going to look at me like, the fuck did he just say?
Yeah.
Like, what? And you're just probably going to walk away. You didn't understand what I just said.
Yeah.
I said words, but the words didn't have meaning to you because you didn't allow them to have meaning because you couldn't understand them. It's this pretty much the same exact thing. If you speak English, I speak English, and I call you a bunch of derogatory words, but they don't mean nothing to you, especially when you don't even know the person. Obviously, they're just saying it to get you angry. They don't even know you. Like, how are you going to let that bother you? Like, to me, that's weakness. Mm-hmm. Because what you're essentially showing is that you have no control over your own mind. So anybody can manipulate you. Yeah. Anybody could take advantage of you. And I don't know. I guess that's where stoicism comes in handy for me, at least. There's definitely a balance to it. Like, I don't want to always be stoic, right? There's certain situations where you can be a little happy and show a little bit of emotion, but I don't do it intentionally. It's just the way I am. Mm-hmm. But through Marcus Aurelius' work, I've come to find that is the best way, according to him, for a human to operate.
I agree. I do. The overall philosophy of stoicism, I agree with.
Yeah. But yeah, anyways, we went off on a tangent again.
Stoicism and all that is like an episode in of itself.
Yeah, we could get into a philosophy episode. Comment down below if you'd like to hear one. And comment down some philosophers' work that you would like for us to talk about too.
As we have Socrates right underneath the camera.
Yeah, he's right there.
Y'all can't see him, but just know
he's right there.
He's right there.
He's watching us.
Facts.
But
he approves this message.
Exactly. But yeah, I mean, I've got nothing left to say. You got anything you want to touch on?
Nah, we honestly, just through the natural course of conversation, we pretty much. The one thing I wanted to say. Be careful how much you depend on people, because it is almost inevitable that you will have to go through certain things alone. And the more you build these dependencies on people to have around you, the deeper the hole gets that you can fall into. Because, like, for example, this is going to be a horrible example, but like parents, a lot of people like overly depend on their parents and don't have like that sound train of thought, right? Like for themselves. So when, God forbid, like a parent passes away, it's not saying it wouldn't be if they didn't have this dependency, but it's just a little extra on top where now it's like they don't know who they are anymore. It's ultimately, after my very shitty example, be your own decision maker.
Yeah.
I think that's like the final thing I would close my side of it out with is be your own decision maker. Have multiple sources, your friends, your close friends, your family, your parents, right? But at the end of the day, make one of those sources yourself. And, listen to your own thoughts. Measure your own thoughts.
Yeah. But yeah. I think we could get into a rabbit hole with like then getting into expectations and things that. But for today, I guess we're wrapping up with expectations and us talking about that is another thing you'd like to hear. Comment down below and let us know.
Mm-hmm.
We'll definitely get into that as well. Probably record it for the next episode or something. Whatever maybe. Well, it'd be 2 episodes because this is we have a couple saved.
Yeah. Comment down below philosophy or expectations.
Just comment both. We can do both. Yeah.
They're both gonna get done.
Yeah.
Which one do you want to see first?
Yeah, exactly. Which would you rather see first? And if for philosophy, drop philosophers or maybe a certain work from a philosopher that you like for us to talk about. And yeah. With that being said, episode 15, the Lost Boyz Podcast. Gianni.
Books. Brandon.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, turn the post notification on so you could get notified when we post every Thursday at 12 p.m. Follow on TikTok, Lost Boyz Podcast. Share, follow, like, comment. Follow us on our social medias as well if you want to get into a deeper conversation about today's topic or any topic we've talked about. And slide in the DMs. Pause. And, and yeah, peace out.
Peace.